particular instance, it seems that it's only the ACN that is crying foul here, because the PDP seems very comfortable. Lack of security operatives, well, deal with it. The results are out.
No, that is what he's saying. The PDP has not said there was no security. And other parties, some of them I heard, like the ANPP man, has congratulated the governor-elect and has categorically stated it was peaceful, it was orderly. But he was a governorship candidate too.
Well, we all know that there is contention, and there is contention in the sense that if you look at the volume of votes counted, if you look at what the PDP got and what the ACN got, and if the ANPP is going to be complaining, their complaints will be, will be different, so to speak. Their cry will not be as loud as that of the ACN. When you look at the votes that they got. You can only cry when you know that there's a fair chance of you having, being able to win. Do you agree with that? But
you see, 33% compared to 62%, there is no basis for them to cry foul in this issue, in the real sense of it, because when you look at the system has gone to a certain level of near perfection. So the question of saying somebody will just go and be rigging and thumbprinting them just like that does not arise.
We had issues of ballot box snatching.
There will always be allegations and counter allegations.
Look at the results now on the screen, Dr. Dogo. So what does this explain to you? When you talk about the ANPP conceding defeat, but not same with the ACN that has 159, almost 160,000 votes coming closely to the PDP. Don't you think that they have a thing or two to really say about this particular election?
No. It is simply lack of
some kind of logic in the ANPP's own acceptance.
It's the tradition of the ACN. It is lack of sportsmanship. They do not accept any person. They do not believe any person will win except them, which is wrong.
It's been working for them.
No, that was in the past, not now. And I can tell you, in this case, it will not work. And they have the right to go to court.
The result you have on that screen, do you think it represents the desires of the people?
There? If it doesn't, then why did they vote? And I believe that
believes that the retired Captain Idris Wada was the anointed by the incumbent, by Governor Idris. Does that represent the desire of the people?
If I may ask you, was Abubakar Audu, did he go through a normal process of primaries and taken to be the governorship candidate of the ANPP? Of the ACN? No. He jumped from one place to the other. He was simply handpicked and imposed on those people, so that he even got this. In fact, it was unexpected. Because left to me, if people from Kogi State should have known that this kind of political prostitution will not augur well for them. So the people are wiser. They know if a person is just jumping, as I earlier said, from one party to the other, he is not there to serve the people, but to serve himself.
How much
Otherwise,
influence?
He should have stayed in ANPP, build the ANPP, ensure success of the ANPP.
How much influence does structure have to play when it comes to winning elections?
Structure?
Because we've seen situations where people clearly have a chance to move to another party, but they simply refuse to, especially when we think that they're heavy enough to be able to win on another platform. Their personality cult, or the personality cult around them, should be strong enough to get them to win elections. But most times they refuse to move.
That's a political fallacy, because structures start from the basic. You have the unit. You come to the ward. You come to the state. You come to the local government, to the state, to the federal level. If you believe that your personality, then you are not a politician.
What exactly do you mean by structures? Let's get this straight.
Structures simply mean there is a process from the very fundamental, from the grassroots, from the lowest person, from my mother who is 120 to any sophisticated person who believes that he's a minister or a governor or anything. So people believe that these structures, there's a process in electing people, which the PDP believes. The PDP is the only party that believes that, look, this democracy is actually of the people, for the people, by the people.
It's interesting,
and it goes like that.
Dr. Dogo, you know why this is interesting? Because it seems that the PDP possesses these structures in the states where it dominates. Other parties have their structures in the states where they dominate as well. For instance, you have said that the ACN doesn't exactly have a structure in Kogi State. But if you come to the Southwest, it seems their structure can be felt.
No. In the Southwest,
you don't agree?
The ACN, no political party, and I repeat, and I stand to be corrected, and I can face anybody on any televised debate, the only parties that have semblance of structures, apart from the PDP that is on ground, is NPP. No any other political party.
Why do you say so?
Because they are one-man shows. Simple. One single person driving and decides who should be what and where and how. That is what exists in ACN. That is what exists in CPC and other political parties.
But it
is not the same thing. It has it has not worked. That is what I'm saying. A temporary thing does not mean it is permanent. And you will come to see, and when it is associated with some certain sectional biases and some errors that have been made by the leaders of the PDP in some of those areas, these issues are being corrected, and it will not be the same thing the next time.
Dr. Dogo, how would you talk about structure when your party still anoints, when incumbents will anoint their successor, so to speak, without giving room to primaries, proper primaries?
See,
and you're blaming the ACN?
That is not correct. That is not correct. You see, anointing somebody without giving room means that you handpick the person, which is not the case. You can support a person,
which is not the case. But
it's not the case.
When you started, you talked about the issues in
anybody, any leader who is not interested in who succeeds him is not a leader, because the primary thing of leadership is that you groom somebody or you want somebody that will succeed you. Supporting that person does not mean you have anointed the person. And there have been instances that somebody wanted another person, but it didn't work. But you will see they all go through the primaries, and those primaries start from the unit to the ward. Before you go to the state, primaries.
Let me read this out to you. Captain Wada's emergence was not devoid of high-wired politics. We know that. It's seen by many in his own local government, that's Zekina, where he also as a supplanter, having replaced Jibrin Echocho as flag bearer. Now, Echocho's sin is that he's perceived to be too close to Abubakar, and is likely to probe Idris when he eventually wins. Now, what does that say of the structure?
That is the person who is saying it, because that person has his own bias. There is nothing to prove that what he is saying is correct or is true. And that person, he is simply saying that, look, he is in sympathy with Jibrin, or he is in sympathy with somebody else. If those who are in sympathy with Idris will tell you a different story entirely. Well, so forget of some of those statements that people make. Those wild allegations that cannot be proved are not political intelligence.
Let me tell you, when you talk about proving some of these allegations, well, you would agree that there's those who still say that the president coming into this gave the party victory. Look at what happened just before this particular election. I'm quite sure you're aware of the meeting he called about a couple of hours to this particular election, calling all warring factions. The man who won the primaries in January, Mr. Echocho, and of course loads and loads of politicians from that particular state, telling all of them to sheathe their sword because the ACN was making what they call a very positive inroad in the political annals of Kogi State.
That is why I say that the PDP is different. That is the political sagacity that exists in the PDP. When you disagree during the primaries, when it comes to elections, you close ranks. No, and that is what is right. That is what should be done. In fact, if he hadn't done so, it would have been something else. But you expect any leader. Look, in the family, when you have your children who have different desires, you want to do something, you call them and discuss and share views. And that is what has happened in the PDP. You see, if he hadn't done that, then something would have been wrong somewhere. You can see that, including the former chairman of PDP, were all there. Look, Audu Ogbe, when he felt out of favor in court and he decided to decamp, has he made any success out of it? But if he had remained in the PDP, I'm telling you, his political stature would have been different today. You don't disagree and you leave. It is just like an escapist kind of thing. Let's say a husband has some problems with his wife and you pack out of the house. That person is I don't know how to describe it, but only political lunatics.
So you're saying that only
do that.
If you leave the PDP, you're sorry, you can't make progress anywhere else?
No, I'm not saying so. But what I'm saying is that if you believed in it in the very beginning, then there is no question of leaving it. You will stay and build the system. But if you were there for selfish reasons, then you will want to move to another party to achieve that selfish reason, because you
what
do
if
not
it's a
have
matter of ideology? I mean, I can disagree with the way certain things are being done.
That means the person,
and if I see that there's no change coming
you see,
here,
that means the person,
I will move to another
party. That means the person didn't even think before joining the party.
No, what I mean is, if this is what I believed when I joined the party,
yes,
and I saw how things were going, maybe I agreed with it to a large extent, and at some point it seems we were deviating from the plan, and all my attempts to correct whatever situation I'm saying is not bearing fruit, I have the right to leave to another party.
Such a politician believes that he has the monopoly of wisdom and knowledge and ideology or whatever it is. We all have ideologies. I have my ideology. Do you see it? But my ideology has to be subsumed in the general good of the party. Do you see it? And so if they do not accept me today, it is possible that I recruit or influence people tomorrow that will have the majority believing in my views. And I will build the system through that. But if you just go in and you think that you can impose your ideology and because it was not accepted, you move to the next and to the next, it doesn't work that way.
Well, very quickly, before we go now, what's your message to the Kogi people now? They have an Idris coming in to take over from another Idris.
I will advise the Kogi people, and I know they would anyway because they are peace-loving, very nice people there, to join hands with the governor-elect to move Kogi ahead. Kogi stands a chance to being one of the best states.
So that the ACN leader will not come again and say, Kogi. Well, yeah, you saw that. Did you see that in the campaign?
See, ACN cannot have any room anymore in those places.
Oh.
Well,
and I can tell you, maybe I can tell you that PDP is going to win Ondo, is going to win Edo, is going to win all the other